All right, if you've ever managed a virtual environment, you know this feeling. It's Friday afternoon, everything's running smoothly, and then bam, performance just tanks. Apps get sluggish, users start calling, and you're left trying to figure out what went wrong. Well, a lot of the time, the culprit is your VMs fighting over resources. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can get that chaos under control. I mean, this is the big question, right? How do you stop your virtual machines from duking it out over resources? Think about it. Your server, your ESXi host only has so much CPU and memory to go around. But all your VMs, they all want their piece of the pie, and they want it now. When demand is higher than what you've got, they start competing, and that's when everything grinds to a halt. So how do you step in and play referee? How do you make sure everyone gets what they actually need? Okay, to make this all super clear, let's use an analogy. Let's think of your server as a really busy pizza parlor on a Saturday night. The kitchen, it only has so much oven space. That's your CPU. And it's got a limited supply of ingredients, dough, cheese, pepperoni. That's your memory. And the virtual machines? Well, they're all the hungry customers, all shouting their orders at the same time. So first up in our resource management toolkit, reservations. You can think of this as the ultimate VIP treatment for your most important customers. We're not talking about just hoping you get a pizza. This is about knowing for a fact that one is set aside just for you. Yeah, the key word here is guaranteed. A reservation literally carves out a specific amount of physical CPU or memory from your host and says this belongs to this VM and no one else can touch it. It is a hard, rock-solid guarantee. The host actually subtracts it from its total available pool. And get this, if the host can't provide that reserved amount, the VM won't even power on. That's how serious it is. So back at our pizza place, a reservation is like that one customer who called ahead and prepaid for their giant pepperoni pizza. The kitchen staff, they've already set aside the dough, the sauce, the cheese, and they've saved a specific spot in the oven just for that order. It doesn't matter how crazy the line gets at the counter, that pizza is getting made. It's totally guaranteed. Now, this is super important. You don't go handing out reservations to every single VM. No way. You save them for the real heavy hitters, your mission-critical apps. We're talking about the stuff that absolutely, positively cannot slow down. Your domain controllers, your main file servers, your core database servers. These are the services that need that guaranteed prepaid performance. Okay, on to our next tool, limits. And this is kind of the opposite of a reservation. If a reservation is about guaranteeing a minimum, a limit is all about enforcing a maximum. Think of it as your safety valve. It's how you make sure one out-of-control customer can't bring your entire kitchen to a grinding halt. A limit is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a hard ceiling. A VM with a limit can never use more CPU or memory than that number you set. And there's the kicker. This is true even if the host has tons of resources just sitting there, completely free. It doesn't matter. The limit is the limit. By default, it's usually unlimited, but putting a specific cap in place can be a really powerful way to stay in control. And this makes perfect sense back in our pizza parlor. The manager just put up a big sign that says, maximum 5 toppings per pizza. Now, why would they do that? It's to stop that one customer from ordering a pizza with 20 toppings and using up all the pepperoni in the whole kitchen. It's a way to stop one person from hoarding all the ingredients, making sure there's enough left for everybody else. So where do you actually use this? Well, it's perfect for those unpredictable workloads. Like development servers, where a developer might push some new code with a nasty memory leak, or maybe a test VM that could just go haywire and spin out of control. By setting a limit, you contain the damage. You put a fence around that VM so it can't take down your really important production system. All right, that brings us to our third and final tool. Shares. Now this one's a little different from the others. See, reservations and limits, they're always on, always active. But shares, they don't do anything until things get busy. They only kick in when there's a fight for resources. You really got to focus on that key phrase, only takes effect when resources are scarce. Let me say that again. Only when resources are scarce. If your host has plenty of free CPU and memory, shares do absolutely nothing. They're just a tiebreaker. It's only when multiple VMs start asking for more than what's available that the share value kicks in and determines who gets priority. Let's go back to the pizza parlor. It's 7 p.m. on Saturday night. The order tickets are flying in. The kitchen is going full blast. This right here, this is contention. The share system is basically the pizza parlor's loyalty program. The order from a VIP club member, that gets bumped to the front of the line. The regular walk-in customer, their order might have to wait a little bit. It's all about who's more important during that dinner rush. And this chart really makes it easy to see. So let's say our production database VM has 2,000 shares, and our little test VM over here has 500. Simple math, right? When the server gets slammed, that database VM is entitled to 4 times the resources of the test VM. It's not a guarantee of a specific amount of megahertz or anything, but it is a guarantee of a much, much higher priority when everyone's fighting for resources. So yeah, the use case is pretty simple. It's all about reflecting your business priorities in your infrastructure. You give more shares to the VMs that are more important. That way, when that resource crunch hits, your critical database server gets first dibs on resources over, say, a less critical internal web server. So there you have it. Our 3 main tools: reservations for your guarantees, limits for safety, and shares for priority. But the real magic happens when you understand how to use them all together to build a system that's stable, efficient, and just, well, managed. This table really brings it all home. Let's just walk through it. A reservation, that's your guaranteed minimum. It's always active. In the pizza parlor, that's your prepaid order. Then you've got your limit. That's your absolute maximum. Also always active. That's the 5-topping rule. And finally, the share. That's your relative priority, and it's only active during contention. That's your VIP customer getting their pizza first during the dinner rush. See how it all fits? Look, at the end of the day, this stuff isn't just about flipping switches and tweaking settings in vSphere. It's about something much more important. It's about translating what the business needs into a technical reality. It's about making sure your infrastructure actually works reliably, especially when it matters the most. Really, it all boils down to this simple mantra. Remember this: reserve for guarantees, limit for safety, and share for priority. If you can remember that, you've got it. It's that straightforward. And this is where our pizza analogy comes full circle, right? When you use these tools the right way, your server stops being this chaotic free-for-all and turns into a smooth, well-run operation. Your most important applications, your most important customers get the service they need every time. And the whole system just becomes so much more stable and predictable. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own environment. Go and look at your most critical application, the one that absolutely cannot fail. Right now, is it just another customer standing in a long line, kind of hoping to get a slice of pizza? Or have you treated it like the true VIP that it is, with a guaranteed prepaid order that's already set aside just for it?